Hello everyone, welcome to week 7 of the Hotel Management English class. Today we are going to do a review for the midterm exam. I'll be telling you about the type of exam and the important things you need to study, and we'll also be doing a practice assignment today that you should upload to the e-learning website. So, some quick announcements. I think everybody knows now the online lectures are now due to continue until week 9. So, our in-class lessons are due to start in week 10. So that's the week beginning May 25th. So our class will be what, May 25th, 26th, 29th, May 29th. Now this could still change, but I don't think it will. Let's hope that we'll be back then. So your midterm will be done online. There'll be two parts to your midterm exam. You will submit a video and submit a script for your video. So it will be the same questions, just one answer is written and the other is spoken. So for your video, you should just record your answers, send the video to me by email, and for your script, you should just write your answers and upload to the e-learning website. I'm going to be giving you some more information on how to do this later in today's video lesson, but that's the basic outline of the exam: a video and a script for your video. For today's class, you will need your textbook. You will need to download some documents from the e-learning website. On there, you will see week 7 assignment, which is your midterm practice. This is really like practicing all of the possible questions that will be in next week's exam. So this is really useful to give you a good idea of how to answer the questions. Today we also have our PPT here, and I think it's probably a good idea to download some of the other class assignments that we've done from week 2 to week 6, because a lot of the things in there are going to be very, very useful for that exam next week. Alright, so we'll start today by going over some of the answers from last week. Now, we had a lot of listening last week. We had 4 different conversations and we had lots of questions. Now, I like doing listening in my classes, and the main reason for that is it's so important when you work in a hotel to be able to understand the guests. If you can't understand the guests, it's impossible to answer them, to get what they want. So although this might have been difficult, it's really good practice to do listening. So we'll go over some of the answers today. Don't worry if you didn't get everything correct. It's quite easy to make some small mistakes. The thing I find about listening, especially when it's about one topic like hotels, the more you do it, the easier it becomes, because you'll find a lot of the questions are not the same, but they're very similar types of questions. So with listening, I think it's all about practice. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. So in conversation 1, we had the question, which floor has a quiet room? Your answer should have been the top floor has a quiet room. So the top floor, just simply the highest floor in the hotel, at the top. Second question, does the room have a safe? We should have noticed does at the beginning, So our answer had to be yes or no, and this time the answer was yes, it does. Number 3, how many rooms in the hotel have full cable TV? Well, all of the rooms have full cable TV. And we'll notice this piece of grammar here is what we used later in the lesson last week. Where in the room is the suitcase stand? Well, the suitcase stand is next to the trouser press. Trouser press is just a little machine that people put their trousers in, and it takes the creases out of their trousers. I think you can put like shirts in there as well. But yeah, that was part 1, the first conversation. In the second conversation, they asked, where is the central light switch? Well, the answer was the central light switch is by the bed. And what they mean by the central light switch is the light switch that can control all of the lights in the room. If you've got 5 or 6 different lamps and lights, you can turn them on and off from that one central light switch. Again, next one. Does the bed have blankets on it? Does. So we should have noticed it will be a yes or no. So here they said no, but they can put blankets on the bed. So they said that there was duvets, like a quilt on the bed, but if the woman wanted to change, they can put blankets on the bed. And the last one, what does the guest want plenty of? And the answer, the guest wants plenty of writing paper. Now again, remembering plenty of means a lot. And that was our answer. So hopefully these answers are quite useful. Conversation 3 had 3 questions. Again, the first question was, is the room quiet? Is the room quiet? Beginning with a verb, so it's a yes or no answer. And in this case, the answer was yes, it is. How many beds does the room have? The room has 2 beds. And they actually said they were 2 single beds. And where is the bar? The bar is on the ground floor. The ground floor, now this is something that people don't use in Korea. When you go into a hotel in Korea, that is the first floor, floor number 1. But in a lot of hotels in the UK and in Europe, actually the first floor is the second floor. I know it sounds strange, but that's how they do it. When you go into a hotel, that is on the ground. They call that the ground floor. And then if you go up one, it's the first floor, then the second floor. So it's a little bit different, and maybe you've not heard this before, but the ground floor in the UK just means the first floor in Korea. Conversation 4, well, the first one, they said the room is large and sunny. When we describe a room as sunny, it means that it maybe has big windows and a lot of light can come into the room from outside. That is a sunny room. If your room has very, very small windows, it probably isn't going to be a sunny room. What can guests see from the room? Well, they described the room has a sea view. So guests can see the sea from the room. If you've got a sea view, it means we can look at the sea. And finally, what do they describe as being nice? They describe the plants as being nice. They said the room has some nice plants. So as I said before, don't get too worried if you missed some of the answers in the listening. It's something that if you practice, you're going to get better with over time. Okay, we'll go on to the second group of answers from last week's class. where we had to describe some of the rooms in the Hotel Rita. So we wanted to use the same kind of grammar structure for all of your answers. We should have been starting with either all of the rooms, most of the rooms, some of the rooms, or none of the rooms. Then we should have been following that with have, and then whatever the function or facility was, or the service. So I'll just quickly go through what those answers were. The first one, all of the rooms have air conditioning. None of the rooms have a personal safe. Some of the rooms have twin beds. Most of the rooms have a TV. Some of the rooms have a four-poster bed. None of the rooms have a fax machine. Some of the rooms have a shower and WC only. Most of the rooms have a king-size bed. Some of the rooms have a luxury bathroom. None of the rooms have a computer. So again, using these different quantifiers, all of the rooms, some of the rooms, most of the rooms, none of the rooms, you can give a very clear idea about that hotel and the facilities it offers. So again, really useful language for the hotel. Okay, today's lesson is going to be about our midterm exam. So we're going to do a quick review and mostly have some preparation into the types of questions and how to answer them. So today's lesson stages, I'll give details about the midterm exam, a quick review about units 1, 2, 3. Actually, we won't do a full review. I'm only going to go over the parts that I think are most useful for the exam. We'll look at the exam question types and how to practice, and that will be mostly through today's class assignment worksheet. So, the aim of the midterm exam is for me to test your understanding of the material taught in the textbook and in class speaking activities, writing activities, so on. So all questions will be based on topics from the book, and students will be expected to use language we have studied during class. Every week I keep telling you about how important it is to use formal English. That's going to be really important in the exam. Also, we'll be using some of the grammar that we studied as well. It's important we use this. So, the structure, the exam will be spoken and written. There will be 3 parts, 1 part for each unit of the textbook. The test will be done by video presentation and written script, 2 different submissions. You will submit the script to the e-learning website. You will submit your video to me by email j.payton@ymail.com. So the written script and the video presentation are going to be the same. Just one is written, one you are speaking. And it will give me a good idea of the differences in your written ability and your spoken ability as well. So that's what we will be doing for the exam. Now, this part is, I'll have to show you this for it to make sense. So I will post 6 different exam papers on the e-learning website. I will assign each student a number between 1 and 6, and that is the exam paper you will have to complete. Now, the reason I'm just not giving just the same paper to everyone is that it's so easy for people just to copy and send the answers around. So um, each student will be getting a paper, and I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute. You should complete the answers in the written part and upload the file to the e-learning website. Then you should record your video with the same answers and send it to my email address. Now, let's go back. I will show you an example. There's going to be, when you see the exam paper on the e-learning site, you're going to see something like this. We've got number 1, we've got name, student number, exam 1. So if next week, when I send out the list with the exam paper numbers, if your number is 1, you do this exam. So that means you can delete all of the other exam papers. You only need to do exam 1. So you just do that, delete, and we'll see we've got exam 1. Now, if your number is 4, for example, well, that would mean that you have to do exam number 4. So you are going to have to delete exam 1, 2, and 3, and exam 5, and exam 6, delete. So you are just left with exam 4, and you would fill in your exam 4. Now this is going to be the structure of the exam, part 1, part 2, part 3. This is not the exam paper, by the way. This is just an example paper I'm showing you for this. So again, when we're doing this, just make sure that you only do the exam that I tell you to do. So if I tell you to do exam 2, you only do exam 2. So there are about 30 students in the class, so 5 people will be doing exam 1, 5 exam 2, and so on. So it just means that everybody's not doing exactly the same exam. So the things that are going to be different. Part 1 is going to be the same for everybody. Part 2, you're going to have to give different information. Part 3, you will have a different hotel bedroom. So the exam papers are going to be a little bit different. But please remember, only send in the one exam paper, the one that I tell you to do. So let's go on with these things then. So looking at the exam paper, you probably saw the types of questions. I will post the exam on Monday 11th of May, and you must submit your exam by the end of that week, by the 15th of May. So same as the class assignments you've been doing. It's up to you to choose when you're going to do that exam, but it must be complete by the end of the week. So, the questions. First question, every exam paper will have the same question. You are going to introduce yourself by giving 5 pieces of information. Now, you're going to start your introduction by saying hello, and at the end I want you to say thank you, because that just tells me you have finished. Then you're going to introduce yourself by telling me your name, where you live, your major, why you chose to study your major, and what you do in your free time. So for example, I might say, hello, my name is James Payton. I live in Cheongna in Incheon. My major is hotel management. I chose to study my major because I love to meet new people. In my free time, I love to play guitar, watch some TV, and meet lots of interesting people. Thank you. There would be a good example of a personal introduction. So that is going to be the same on every exam paper. Everybody will introduce themselves by giving 5 pieces of information. That is it. So nice, I think, fairly easy first part. Now, the second part is going to be about the check-in. That was Unit 2 in our textbooks. So you will have to welcome a guest and ask them 3 questions, all of which should use formal English. So again, this is something you should go back over, look at the video lessons, look at our handouts again. What is formal English? Well, again, we don't say things like, what's your name? That's too direct. Could you tell me your name, please? Or may I have your name? Or do you mind telling me your name? So, also, we have to welcome the guest as well. So, how would you welcome? Hey, how's it going? No, that's not formal. So maybe a good welcome would be good evening and welcome to Inha Hotel. Something like that. Now, in the exam, you will have to ask for 3 pieces of information. Now, it could be any of these pieces of information. Maybe the name, spelling of the name, phone number, reservation date, room type, number of people, passport, payment method, signature. So these are the kinds of questions. So let's say in your exam paper you're given phone number. Well, you would have to think of a formal question that you can ask a guest to get their phone number. For example, could you tell me your phone number, please? That would be like it. So in this part of the exam, you'll be doing 4 things: welcoming, and then asking for 3 pieces of information. Every exam paper will have a different 3 pieces of information. So it's very important here that we use formal English questions. We don't want to use direct English. And then the third part of your exam will be the hotel bedroom. You will be shown a photo of a hotel bedroom. You will be required to describe the hotel room. There will be 6 different photos used in the exam. Each exam paper will have a different photo of a different hotel room. You should describe it, and also your answers should use some prepositions to describe the location of the items. Now, you can describe other parts of the rooms. You can maybe describe the colors, or maybe you can describe things that are there. But anyway, here's a kind of example of how you could describe. This is a large hotel bedroom with lots of useful items. There is a large double bed in the center of the room. There are 2 bedside tables on each side of the bed. There is a sofa near the window, and above the sofa there is a picture hanging on the wall. The bed looks very comfortable, and there are plenty of pillows on it. I think this looks like a nice hotel room. So most of my answer, I'm using these prepositions to describe the things in the room and where they are, but I'm also kind of giving my opinion here. Nice hotel room. I'm talking about the size here. I also talked about how the bed looks very comfortable. So we don't need to only describe the location of items. We can talk about other things in the hotel room as well. But I think this would be a good answer, and this is enough information. I think when you're speaking this answer, that would take about 30 seconds to do that. So that is going to be part 3 of your exam next week. Now, recording your video, you can record your video on your phone or on your computer. It's up to you. but I must be able to see your face clearly. Just like you can see my face clearly in this video, I've got to be able to see your face so that I know it is you that is speaking. When sending the video file, you must name it like this. I want you to put your student number first, then your name, then the class that you are in. So for example, we've got 2020 12345 Honggildong 1C. So by making these video files like this, it's going to make it much easier for me to put it into the correct class, and it means there will be no chance I can lose your files. So again, if your class is 1D, just your student number, then your name, then your class. This is very important, everybody. If you just send a video file, well, I don't know what class you're in. So if you send me it and it is not labeled like this, I will send you it back and tell you to use this labeling. So everyone, this is how to name your file. Again, can I give you an example? Do I have any videos? No. Oh, maybe not. Okay. If you're having trouble sending the file by email, you can send it to me through Kakao Talk, but this is not the best way. It's much better to do it by email. Make sure the file's not too large, but if there's whatever problem you may have, if you can't do it by email, you can send it to me through Kakao Talk. Okay, so this week's assignment, as I showed you earlier here, this allows you to practice all parts of the exam. So please complete the assignment and upload the file to the e-learning website, and I will give you feedback on each part, and hopefully then you can improve your answers for the exam next week. Okay, so just a review, everyone. Your midterm exam will be done online. Submit a video. You should record your answers. Send the video to me by email. Submit a script for your video. You should introduce yourself, answer questions about topics from the book, and you should upload to the e-learning website. When sending the video file, you must name it this way: student number, then your name, then your class. So, I hope everybody prepares well. Always remember, if you've got any questions about the exam or any questions about anything, you can contact me. You can send an email, you can send a message on the Kakao class group, or send me an individual message. Any questions you have, please just ask. So, everyone, thank you for listening today, and good luck with your exam next week. Bye, everybody.